Okay, so we're moving on to a new chapter today. We're talking about graphing quadratic functions. These are equations with exponents of 2. The standard form of these is f of x equals ax squared plus bx plus c. And a cannot be 0 because I have Javier. A cannot be 0 because I need it to be in the shape of a U. And the squared makes the U happen. And the U shape is also called a parabola. The standard form of a quadratic equation is f of x equals ax squared plus bx plus c. A can't equal 0 because I need the squared to show up to make the actual curved part of the graph, and the curve is called a parabola. Yes? Something written with an exponent of 2. Okay? The highest or the lowest point is called a vertex. We'll talk about that more Monday, I think. The line that goes through the vertex, though, and splits the graph into symmetric parts is called the axis of symmetry. It's the line of reflection. Okay, so number 1 wants me to graph f of x equals 2x squared. And it wants me to start off by making a table of values. Remember when we were doing exponential graphs, I started off with -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2? Okay, so I'm going to pick those same exact values right now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in my x values into the equation I highlighted. So I'm going to start off with 2 times -2 squared. So what's -2 squared? 4 times 2 is 8. Okay, then I have -1 squared is 1 times 2 is 2. I have 0 squared. 0 times 2. I have, dang it, it's 2 up front. I have 1 squared, which is 1 times 2 is, and then I have 2 times 2 squared. So yeah, 8. Questions on getting my y values, which I've called f of x on this graph. Okay, so then the next step is I want to go and graph this on the graph. I'm going to, remember, x values are left and right, f of x or y values are up and down. So I'm going to go left 2 squares, up 8, and put a point. You always start at 0, 0. Ah! I did not mean to draw a line. Right here. And then you always go left and right and up and down from there. Then I have negative, so I'm going left 1, up 2, 0, 0, so I stay exactly where I'm at. I have positive 1, 2, so I go right 1, up 2, and then I have positive 2, 8. so then I have this graph is f of x because of the name. And then it also wants me to compare to the graph, guys, be quiet. It wants me to compare to the graph of g of x equals x squared. So I'm going to make another table of values to graph this one. Okay. So what's negative 2 squared? What's negative 1 squared? 0 squared. 0. 1 squared. 2 squared. Okay, so then I'm going to go plot this. I'm going to go left 2 squares up 4. Left 1 square up 1. 0, 0. Right 1 square up 1. Right 2 squares up 4. I just plotted the points. What? Left 2 up 4. Left 1 up 1. 0, 0. Right 1 up 1. Right 2 up 4. It should be more U-shaped. Or does it look complicated? But every time this one's going to be the same, the red one. So, how does the blue one look different than the red one? Okay. So, I heard that the values were being multiplied by 2 in the blue one, and the red one wasn't being multiplied by anything. And then I also heard Nevaeh say that it's longer. So if I start out with, let's make this a circle. If I start out with like a rubber band, right? So imagine the rubber band is the red one. The more I stretch it, the skinnier and longer it gets, right? So what I'm going to say here is f of x has a vertical stretch because it got skinnier. Don't know why I wrote an equal sign. Okay, and then connecting back to what Ariana said about the 2, I'm going to say it actually has a vertical stretch of 2 because the first equation was multiplied by a 2. Because I have, so the red one is my original one, and the blue one is the one that's been changed, and I have to describe the change. Yes. Any other questions here? Okay, any questions here? Can I move on to number 2? Okay. Oh. What? I don't have any food. Can I move on to number 2 now? When Ariana comes back.
Ariana?
Yes, Ariana. No, I mean Ariana. There are 2 people out of the room right now, and I want one of them to come back. Okay, can I move on now? Okay, so this one's kind of the same, except notice how I'm dividing by a 3? What I want to do here is I want to pick numbers that can be divided by 3.